One of my subscribers, Sebastian, has been asking me several questions about how I actually use my camera, and having the time today to actually go through it is what I thought I'd do. So when I'm using my camera, I always use it in live view because of the Canon 77D. Using the viewfinder itself, you're only getting about 95% coverage, whereas when you're using live view, you're getting the full 100%. So when you're framing up the image, particularly for landscape photography, it makes sure that you're getting all of the information where you want it, particularly if you're looking at any leading lines. And that's a key thing here today, because I've got some of the leading lines of the ruins of the castle here. I want to make sure that they obviously disappear or start right in the bottom corners where I actually want it, and also that it's actually going to be captured all within the frame. So that's why I use live view, which is the first thing. Second thing, and I'll use my phone so you can obviously see me doing this. So with the phone set up there, you can actually see what the settings I've got for this particular image. So I've got it on evaluative metering with the autofocus. When you go onto live view, I've got the smooth zone autofocus, and what I tend to do with this, if I can just focus that a little bit better, that's it. You can see where I've actually got the focus box on the main subject of what I'm actually taking here. Apologies for the shaky camera of the phone footage, but that's what I end up doing. I focus on that particular area, depress the shutter button halfway so obviously you can get that focus, 2-second timer, and take the image as it is. F-stop obviously I will adjust depending on the type of scene that I've got in front of me, and the shutter speed as well, obviously again will adjust depending on the settings. The ISO I tend to keep as low as possible. I mean, it's a golden rule kind of landscape photography, to keep it around about 100 or as low as possible the camera can manage. Because you don't want to add any unnecessary noise. And I have found that if I do push the ISO above sort of 400, you're adding in unnecessary noise, and it's not really that sort of great of an image if you get that. So yeah, that's the kind of settings that I normally would use. I frame it up, as I say, in live view. I use the smooth zone autofocus, select the main area of the subject that I want to focus on, and obviously take that image. I then find that pretty much I've got a good sharp focused image from front to back, depending obviously on the f-stop that I'm using. However, like the composition earlier, I do need to sort of focus stack from time to time, depending on obviously where the foreground interest is, and obviously the midground or background interest as well, and then obviously blend those images together in post-processing. But yeah, camera settings are camera settings in my opinion. The best thing is to get used to your own camera and work out how you can actually use it. And the settings, yeah, I mean, I know I post up the settings, but that's just for the information about that actual image. But you can never recreate it, because the scenes today are the scenes today. They're not going to be the same tomorrow or the day after that. So yeah, it's just knowing your camera and knowing the settings. But the key thing that I've found over the past year, so back in sort of January 2019, I made the commitment of my New Year's resolution then to shoot full manual, and since then I've never looked back. Yeah, it's been a huge learning curve to do it, but when you're shooting full manual and you're able to then get up the histogram as well to make sure that you're getting that balanced image, that's the key thing. And then you can obviously adjust the settings if you know kind of what sharpness you want, so you're setting the f-stop at that particular detail. So you've obviously making sure you've got that sort of front to back sharpness for that side of things. You're focusing on the main subject. Make sure then you're balancing the image using the histogram on the live view, and then obviously taking the image from there and working it out. Hopefully that will be helpful for you, Sebastian.